What's good, everybody? So, how do you get more recommendations for Substack? See, the thing about it is, Substack, one of their most powerful tools for you to grow your Substack, whether it's you're a journalist, you're an author, doesn't matter specifically what industry or your target audience. Recommendations are one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful tool on Substack right now. And let me tell you right now, it is actually changing very soon, but recommendations are not going away because this is one of the unique aspects of Substack. As an entrepreneur with a voice and a following, have the chance to recommend others that you follow. It's the power of a referral, and we all know about the power of a referral for a small business. If you are an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, you understand that referrals can be the lifeblood of a business, especially in between those time periods where maybe advertising isn't going well or you're not advertising. There are businesses that have completely survived off of referrals during times of crisis. So, how can you leverage this built-in tool of Substack to grow your audience and to grow your authority on one of the most powerful and fast-growing platforms in the world of social media and newsletters? Well, let's get to it right now. Let's get into exactly how do you get those recommendations. So, number one, you have to be genuine, be authentic, be real, be natural. Yes, all of those things lumped into one sum comes to authenticity. Authenticity is the best way to combat everything we're seeing right now, especially even with AI, because a lot of people project what they're doing. They say what they're doing, but they're not really doing it. They're not really about it. This platform, killing it on that platform by one simple thing. They're telling their true stories. They're being honest and forthright. And this is getting listeners. The same thing that you should be doing. Readers, listeners, whether you're posting a podcast on Substack or you're running a newsletter, you're doing both. They want the honest truth. But you know who else wants that? Other creatives on Substack. And they're not going to recommend you if you telling people one thing and you ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it real. You want to be authentic. You want to be honest. You want to be forthright and genuine in your message. Are you trying to change the world by planting more trees? Okay, great. Write about it. Tell us about it. How are you doing? How do you go about it? But then if you go in the back and you like, I don't even recycle. I throw away plastic all the time. I'm like, come on now. You're not doing what you're saying, what you're doing. That ain't right. That's not fair. That's not genuine. Be genuine. Be honest. Be straight up. Because those are the people that are listening right now. They want to take your advice. And this goes for the other writers. This goes for the authors. This goes for the creators. This goes for the entrepreneurs who are on Substack, just like you, just like me. I speak to small business owners. I speak to entrepreneurs who are trying to profit from their creativity, who are trying to build a living doing what they love to do. And they're just looking for those technical pieces. They're looking for, well, how do I market? How do I use technology? How do I get the profit from what I love, from my passion? Well, that's what I work on. That's what I help you do, right? I help you find those tools. So that's in every single post and every single message. How I'm doing it and how I'm helping others do it. Be genuine, be authentic. That's number one. Genuinely engaging with others, not just posting a like. We all remember that. Posting a like, share for share, all that kind of stuff from other platforms. And Substack is no different. It's just like every other platform historically when it comes to engagement. The more authentic you are with that engagement and the more consistent you are with that engagement, then, of course, people are drawn to you because they say, hey, I've seen this guy's comments. I've seen that person's comments. I like what they have to say. I like their insights. When I leave a comment, I'm very me. If I think it's facts, I'll just say facts. That person was preaching. If it's a lot more to it, and keeping it a bean with you, if I disagree with you, I'm going to disagree with you. Now, I'm not going to attack you, but I will be honest. Like, hey, you know what? That's an interesting way of looking at it, but that's not how I see it. Or factually, there's something off there. I've seen some research that says this or that or the other. Maybe there's some insights that I could provide. See, that's genuine engagement, genuine conversation. If you get on there and you're honestly telling people how you feel, leaving comments, sharing your insights, sharing your thoughts, that'll shine through. And once again, other creators who do the same, they will want to recommend you because they're like, I like what this person is saying, but more importantly, they're coming from it a real, honest, genuine, heartfelt way. This is how they feel. This is what they see based on their research and based on their expertise. Why would I want to recommend somebody who's giving us a bunch of falsehoods or worse yet, a person who's just making up stuff, right? Just because they're like, hey, this will give me clicks and this is trendy. Yay. No one wants to do that because that's going to fall off at some point. Comment, engage, connect. Those are very important, but you got to be authentic. It goes back to that first point. Point is to be authentic. Second point is to engage consistently, leave comments, definitely drop in a chat have a good conversation with another creator. Don't say, hey, this is what I'm posting tomorrow. Do you mind sharing this out? Maybe. Better yet, how about just recommend my post? How about you recommend or restack? That's great too. If you build that kind of relationship where you can have an open dialogue and open conversation and a true partnership and collaboration, can't go wrong with that, which leads to number 3. Leverage all of the Substack features. As I mentioned, chatting, commenting, restacking. There are a lot of powerful features on Substack built into the platform. The platform is clearly designed for those of us in the creative space that want to connect, but want to connect with other creators just as much as we want to connect to our audience of consumers or customers, however you want to look at that. The key here is you have to really deep dive into every single platform. And this is why I created the platform that I developed, which was maybe you as a content creator or you as a small business owner don't have that time. This is what people will pay me for in consultation. Hey, what platform is working, or what software should I be using? What app should I be connecting to this website? What website builder should I use for my new business? So I did this on a regular basis, and it made sense to leverage a platform like Substack to do the same. And my recommendation is always to do this with every platform. But Substack is right there for you to get more recommendations. Every single feature will help you. And I'm not saying this from, just looking at what other people are doing. It's helped me. One live session helped me get a couple recommendations. One one-on-one chat with another creator helped me get a recommendation. Building out my newsletter on a consistent basis, but doing newsletter, notes, long posts, all 3. I turn my long posts into notes, break them up. Got that suggestion from another creator on Substack that I recommended. See how that worked out? They noticed I recommended them. They were like, hey man, you actually followed my advice. It's working out for you. We had a good dialogue. We had a good connection. Recommend each other. This is the power of using the different features, because you see what works for you and your content, but also you see what works for you and your content and work with other creators to develop strategies and develop actual action plans, not just strategy. I talk about this all the time on my LinkedIn, the difference between strategies and plans. Don't even get me started. Don't get me started. If you got here from my LinkedIn newsletter, you already know how I feel. Let's not move on too fast because we want to make sure we talk about all the features going live. There's restacking. Of course, commenting. Can't go wrong with that. Restacking is commenting and leaving a note, which is awesome because you're taking a note that you love. You're putting a little extra love and comment in there, telling people how much you like this. It's a good move to do. Love this, absolutely. There's long form and there's short form. Short form in the notes, but the long form, you could turn that into a newsletter, or you can do it just like this, where you have a bunch of notes, you collect them and put them into one long form. I love doing that. That's one of the best things about Substack is you can take your notes, put them very easily into one long form piece of content, and then share that out as a newsletter. Or you can come back with a new idea. Maybe there's some new things that you learned, and maybe some new information you want to share. Want to go into it? There you go. Great discussions. Get started. And the final one is being patient. Now, I'll tell you right now, I've been on Substack less than a year. So I'm not seeing 20,000, 50,000, 60,000. In fact, one thing I've noticed with some of my favorite authors on Substack is that I mentioned they've been on Substack for a year. Some have mentioned they've been on Substack for 2 years. Some people have mentioned that they've been on Substack for 3 years, like literally since it started, and they're just now seeing 100,000. They're just now seeing, getting paid on a regular monthly basis in a consistent amount. That's what it all comes down to, and that's why the 4th pillar is to be patient and to be consistent. You have to be patient, though. The reason why is because, number one, Substack is a growing platform, so a lot of the numbers aren't there. Of course, any type of fatigue can set in, right? So if a person's already signed up for 10 Substacks and they're reading it all the time, they might not reread yours. Let's just be fair. And once again, this is to get recommendations. I'm not going to recommend you if you don't post on a regular basis. And let me tell you, most other creators on Substack, they're the same way. They will not recommend your Substack if you are not creating on a regular basis. The idea is to recommend somebody that you're proud of. You're referring them. Think about it like this. If you have a small business, will you refer somebody that you don't believe in their work and you don't think they're consistent? And worse yet, you don't know the quality of their work? If you're not getting recommendations after going through the first few steps, think about it in this 4th piece. Well, I've been consistent. I've been doing this for about 3 months. Not one person's reached out. Maybe even I've reached out on a few chats. This is why that 3rd step I mentioned, connecting with another creator, using that chat feature, not just with your audience, but using it with other creators who are out there. Identifying what works for them. Asking them, hey, could you critique one of my long form newsletters? I did that one time, and let me tell you right now, the feedback I got wasn't so good at all, but it helped a lot. My favorite Substack authors to follow, went into his long form, learned from him, asked him, could he review my stuff? And he's like, yeah, it's gotten a lot better. And the guy who gave you the critique before, I see what you applied, because I let him know how what they reviewed, what they recommended, what they wanted to change, and it made perfect sense. Be patient, but do not run away from feedback. In fact, ask for feedback, ask for questions, ask for commentary, ask for like, hey guys, this is a cool note. You think, yeah, no, yes, no, maybe so. And that's actually another way, and we're not getting into monetization, but that is actually another way to build a profitable Substack, is you make it very secure and private and exclusive in certain features that you handle with a small group. And if they're willing to do it and they see the value, maybe even get a premium payment from that, or make it into a premium account, if you will, or a premium feature for yourself if you have a free newsletter or if you have a free Substack. Just one of many ways to use it and leverage it for you. So once again, Substack, one of their best tools for you to grow on the platform is utilizing recommendations. And recommendations, of course, don't always expect, hey, if I recommend you, you're going to recommend me. No, you want to go through these steps. You want to be consistent. You want to be authentic. And most important, you want to be real with your connections and developing those connections, asking for feedback, leaving genuine comments. Liking, yes, that's cool, but restacking and leaving a comment, telling people what you felt about it, being honest about your feelings, being honest about what's going on with you, and being honest about where you are with your process. Share what you're comfortable with, but the more authentic in what you're sharing is what matters. And that's what's going to get someone to say, hey, you know what? I love that platform. I love what you're doing over there. I would love to recommend you. Recommend who you trust, who you like to consume and read. And when I say who you like, I'm not talking about just like, oh, I like that person, they're a good person. It's more so, I like this person for my audience, because recommendations work both ways. You want to recommend people that you trust, because remember, you're trying to build a valuable audience. I only recommend those platforms that my audience can learn a lot from. My audience can learn just like I'm learning from them. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. Don't try to be somebody you're not on the platform. That will shine through real quickly. People will pick that apart and they will identify that as soon as possible. As a consultant in digital marketing, web design, and branding, it makes sense. Hey, I want to connect you guys with people who can help you build your brands, making digital products. Here's some recommendations that I actually use. Yes, every single one of the authors that I follow on Substack, I read their work. I utilize some of their tools. I take their advice. I've had some cool conversations with them. You should do the same. So with that, if you want to build a great Substack, you want to be successful on the platform, this is still one of the most powerful features on the platform. Don't think it's going anywhere. I just think it's going to change up. There are some for sure changes coming up, and some of the best Substackers have already started mentioning that. But this feature is one of the cornerstones of the brand. Utilize and leverage recommendations. Be authentic, be consistent, be patient, and engage as much as possible. Best to you and yours. Thanks for watching. Make sure that you share. See, I went for the one I like the most. Share, subscribe, and like. I appreciate you guys. See you around in the next edition of, well, what this is. I got to come up with an ending. I got to come up with a closer. See? Authentic. I don't have a closer. I got to come up with something. I'll figure out something. You know what I'll do?